Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics as Non-Classics. This is episode number 1369 and Doubleshot number 1263. Yeah, it's been a few days since I did Comic Corner because I didn't have a trades review, but now I do. First up it is Punisher Krew by Gary Duggan. Artwork by Juan Ferrer. Yep. This book contains not only the 5-issue miniseries of Punisher Krew, plus the short story for Wardrum's Omega, which I kind of thought, though, maybe that was been unnecessary, but it basically sets up this miniseries. Now, this miniseries is a sequel to this. Yeah, it's a follow-up to this miniseries here. Yes, so Punisher assembles his kill crew to take out some monsters. So who does he assemble? The first thing he does is recruit a goat. I'm not kidding about that. He recruits a goat to pull his basically his van. And then he finds the Juggernaut. Yes, a character who, prior to this miniseries, the Punisher has had 0 encounters with the Juggernaut. And somehow he found him. Yes, found out where the Juggernaut was and freed him. And he also recruits Foggy Nelson from Daredevil comics. I'm like, okay. And as for his last recruit he recruits for his kill crew, he asks Avengers, hey, do you happen to know where Dan the Waltman is, aka the Black Knight? Well, they found him pretty easily. And they go to another realm. It's just pure fun, this miniseries. Yeah, it's so freaking good. I mean, who would have thought, though, the Punisher would team up with the Juggernaut of all people? I would have thought, though, he might have, like, one thing I would personally love to see, and this might be awesome, a team-up miniseries of the Punisher and Rocket Raccoon. 2 characters who made a debut not that long apart from each other. Yep, but I guess not. Pure fun of a miniseries. Yeah, it's just pure fun. I'm glad, in fact, they kept the artist from the previous miniseries on here, because after all, it's a follow-up to it. So, why the heck not? Yep. And it's been unusual for Punisher to do this, but I guess that Marvel's like, okay, Punisher technically wasn't going to have his ongoing series tied into War of the Realms. Well, probably because the series is wrapping up that period of time, so I figured, okay, give him a miniseries. Okay. So, here you go. Punisher Krew. An excellent miniseries. I get the book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's just pure fun. Yeah. Well, in the case of like his encounters with the people before, in the case of Dan Waltman, I don't think he's ever met him before. Like, as for how he knew about Dan Waltman, my guess, he probably read about him. The Juggernaut, kind of the same thing. Foggy, I think he might have encountered because of Daredevil. Yeah. The goat. My theory is this goat might actually be Thor's goat that he just somehow found in Manhattan. Alright, next up, it is the final trade of Justice League Odyssey. Volume 4, The Last Stand. Yep, this is the end of Justice League Odyssey. Which are like, really? Yeah, like, you just wrapped up your review series for Justice League Dark and now Justice League Odyssey? Well, this one I knew was ending. Dark, I did not initially know was ending, but yeah, it ended. Now, I should point out the cover artwork is not the interior artwork. Yeah, this CGI style artwork is done by an artist by the name of Scon. Yes, and this is also the end of Dan Abnett's and his run for the book. The artwork is done by Will Conner and Cliff Richards. This book collects issues 19 to 25. Yes, the last 7 issues, which not surprising, of course. Mostly put, this kind of in the way wraps up this series. Yes, one of the things they did in these last few issues is that the whole thing would happen to Cyborg, Starfire, and Azrael gets undone, and Darkseid himself is defeated. That's the big chore just to this. Basically, what the premise of this is. Basically, fixing what happened at the end of the first story arc of Dan Abnett's run. Because I guess Dan Abnett figured, though, time to wrap up this series. So it's about bits of time travel, 2 versions of the same character popping up, and of course also the group itself kind of disbands by the final issue, where Starfire and Cyborg decided to go back with the Titans, which not a bad idea to do. Azrael, for some reason, decided to stay in space. Yes, Azrael decided to stay in space. As for Jessica Cruz, she decided to go back to Oa to basically inform the Guardians basically what happened over the course of the series. Not a bad idea. But this series has got an interesting cliffhanger to it. Yes, a cliffhanger that leads into Dark Knight Death Metal. Yes. That's interesting, though. Basically, Scott Snyder's ending leads to that run and led to that miniseries. This one did too. Yep. And basically, they have Orion get a lot of good moments in here to shine. Daxstar is really good in here. Blackfire surprisingly gets along okay with her sister, despite the fact these two try to kill each other over the years. I'm glad the fact they reference that here, because here's the thing. I think the last time prior to this series, the Blackfire ship I could think of was probably Red Hood and the Outlaws, where she sold her sister into slavery. Yeah. And of course, Blackfire goes back to Mascara. Well, Tanaran. As in the case of Ryan, he goes back to New Genesis. Yeah, he was one of the recruits here. We also have a Space Ranger, which is interesting. Yeah, fun series. Pure fun. I thoroughly enjoyed the ending of this. Basically, Cyborg, his little reboot basically got fixed. Also, this was really weird. Okay, you have Starfire and Cyborg going to this portal, basically in their normal attires that they've been wearing since the start of the series. So Cyborg technically didn't have that C on his chest when the series started. Basically went back to the look Gary Frank gave him. And then basically they go through the portal and they come out like this, where Cyborg has got a facial hair and he's bald, and Starfire has got herself sort of like a mohawk look. And then it says, and then Justice League Odyssey, the start of Death Metal. Yes, because as soon as they go back to Earth, like they thought they would, thanks to portals that Cyborg created, they ended up in the Dark Multiverse. Yep. So we have a plot that we continue in that particular event, which actually wrapped up last year. I gotta say, this is actually really good. My final thoughts on this particular series. Now, one thing I noticed about the logo for the series. To me, did anybody notice though that the logo changed? Yeah, they kept changing. Like, first two look pretty much the same except different coloring, and then by the third trade they changed the third and fourth trade. This is what the logo looks like. I'm not really sure why they changed the logo for. That I thought was quite odd. Also, there was a slight problem with the series. By the way, I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, there was a slight problem with the series when the series started. Yes, for some reason, we started with Joshua Williamson in the book, and then we switched to Dan Abnett. Yeah, for some unknown reason. I've tried to talk to Joshua Williamson about this. He was very vague of why he left this title. Also, here's another thing about this title. Did anybody notice, though, when the series started a couple of years ago, that the first issue was actually delayed? Yeah, delayed by 2 months. I tried to ask Joshua Williamson about this when I met at Comic-Con. He never gave me an answer of why in the world the series was delayed. It just was delayed, and he just left after the opening story arc. My guess is because he had too much focus with Flash. Possible. I mean, the thing is, when he wrote the series, it was something I think a lot of readers have wanted to see ever since he did Just Like vs. Suicide Squad. People wanted to write the main series. He did eventually do that a couple of times. I mean, mainly the reason why that they did it, they wanted him to do it, was because basically a lot of people didn't like Brian Hitch's run. I was one of them. I was not really a big fan of his run at all. And I think Williamson had a lot better handled the characters and at least know how to tell a good story. Hitch is good at developing characters, but not always good at developing a good story. But in the case of this series, this is also the second series, mind you. Dan Abnett took over the series with the second story arc. Now you're probably thinking, like, Okay, what was the last series this with? Earth 2 Society. I'm not kidding about that. He seriously did. Yeah, it was right after the opening story arc. They had him switch. They had him take over that book from Daniel Wilson. Yes, as far as I know, there's really no explanation for this. When Dan Abnett took over this title, I kind of thought that kind of makes sense. The guy has got experience writing sci-fi work, thanks of course writing Guardians of the Galaxy, and of course the guy is writing Dodge Taurus now over at Dynamite. But I never thought his role was actually terrible. No. Though at the time he was writing this, he was also writing Titans. Yes. Now, for that series, I get the reason why it ended. This series, I'm not really sure. Maybe that's as far as Dan Abnett wanted to take of the book. I mean, he came on with issue number... What was he came on with? I have to look it up here. He came on with issue 6. Yes. All in the case for Earth 2 Society came on that book. He came up with issue 8. This book was issue 6. Okay? So, what? He only did 20. He only had planned for 20 issues. But at least it was a good run. Yep. And he did wrap up the storyline he wanted to tell after the first story arc. Now, the thing with the series started was that Darkseid was part of the roster. That was one thing was teased when the series started. And from what I can tell, if you read Williamson's run, that was going to be the case. But when Abnett took over the book, that changed. Where Darkseid became not a member of the Justice League, but back being the enemy of the Justice League. That's what it seemed like to me. And then he had it where he had Cyborg, Starfire, and Azrael turn bad, basically being brainwashed by Darkseid, and apparently killing Jessica Cruz. Now, like I mentioned before with the last trade review for this one, Ethan Skyver was not upset by this as everybody else was. He was not very happy at the fact to kill off a character he helped create, but he wasn't like downright upset with DC with it because he explained this in a video. If you watch his YouTube channel, he explains like he was not very happy with the fact that Jessica Cruz got killed off, but the thing is, he wasn't as deeply upset as everybody else. I mean, he's created a lot of characters. I mean, he can't exactly remember every single character created, but yes, he did technically create Jessica Cruz. He didn't draw her for his appearance, mind you, but he did help create the character. So, of course, he was upset, but as upset as everybody else was. And my guess is Abnett himself wants to take some flack for that. So, he probably was, like, receiving all negative backlash against the death of Jessica Cruz. And, like, he pretty much just, well, undid the death of their few issues, maybe because that's what he planned to do. Now, if you're curious, though, what exactly happened to Justice League Odyssey afterwards? Well, in the case of most members, not a lot. I mean, Cyborg and Starfire are currently appearing in the Teen Titans Academy series right now, which I read the first issue. It's a quite interesting start to the series, though I think it's probably DC's take on Strange Academy. That's just my opinion anyways. But what about Azrael? Like, what happened to him? Well, as far as I can tell, nothing. Yeah, as far as I can tell, nothing. Yeah, he has not appeared in a comic book since the series wrapped up. Which you're probably thinking, really? Azrael, why the heck hasn't he popped up? Maybe because DC's got no plans for him? It's possible. In the case of Jessica Cruz, I think she did pop up in the first issue of the current Green Lantern run. But mostly she's been absent since this book ended last year. Yeah, believe it or not, it actually ended just last year. You're thinking, really? Yeah, it did. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the pricing of this book is interesting to say the least. The first trade, pretty much all 4 trades cost $16.99 a piece, which is pretty standard for Justice League to probably be charged that much. But it wasn't like $20. One thing is not a lot of issues per se. This is basically the last trade is like 7 issues, not 6, 7. Yep. Despite the fact of only doing 3 story arcs of the series, at least Dan Abnett basically added more people to the team. Yeah, at least it's something with the series. Darkseid, as far as I can tell, was interesting though. The fact that Well, they have appeared in this book instead of the main Justice League book, which is something. My guess is DC wanted to keep the guy active, so, but not have him constantly fight the main Justice League because that's been done to death. So, the main book. So, why not fight a space version of the team? Not a bad idea. The only key Justice League Odyssey itself, it's mostly kind of in a way DC's loose attempt to do their own version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Mostly, anyways. Heck, they even brought one of the co-creators of the current era of the group. Yeah, one of the co-creators. One of three. Yeah, they could have been Annie Lennon on this, but they did bring Annie Lennon to do Alice Winter with Ron Martz. Yeah, which I still think is kind of weird. That it's been 4 months since this crossover wrapped up, and there is no trade payback for this one. We're like, really? Why isn't there trade payback for Endless Winter? Answer is not been known exactly why they haven't done it for me. They didn't bring it all the rest of the crossovers, but not this one. Who knows? Yep. But since I wrapped up Justice League Odyssey, that's another series basically I don't have to review anymore from DC. So in case you're curious though, like what series basically am I buying for DC to review? Justice League, Detective Comics, Action Comics, Superman. Aside from those four, that's pretty much it. I'm not really buying much anything else. I didn't buy anything at Backer. Mostly I reviewed almost everything on that basically via checking out from the library or basically reading on the app. So, not a lot. Oh yeah, there's also Red Hood Outlaw. I buy that too because I like Red Hood Outlaw. I think it's really good. Yep. Now, you might think that basically with the change of creative team that the series didn't have much focus. The series had plenty of focus. Like, there was no tonal change. Besides the fact they did change the premise of the series a little bit. At least it felt like an actual Odyssey. Though, in case you're curious, though, what the heck happened to Brainiac's ship? As far as I can tell, nothing. Yeah, as far as I can tell, since this book ended, Brainiac has not gone back. Well, his ship, yeah, he's alive again. He was brought back in pages the main Justice League book, but he's not got back in his ship yet. No, he never took it back, as far as I can tell. No, he hasn't. I'm not really sure why he hasn't taken his ship back for, but he hasn't. Yeah. So yeah, that's a particular review. I have one more review I'm going to do today, and that's a review of the newest episode of the 7 Deadly Sins. Okay, see you next video. Bye.